We believe the most urgent issue for the President and Congress to address is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is a rotating 3.5 million ton island of garbage throughout the Pacific Ocean. It is also known as the Pacific Trash Vortex that contains mostly plastic, which is why the garbage patch is so threatening. The average American throws away about 4.5 pounds of garbage every day. After 1 year, the amount of trash adds up quickly and a big percentage ends up in the ocean. Plastic, unlike most garbage, is not biodegradable, which means the plastic will never go away and can only become smaller pieces of plastic that float throughout the ocean. It also releases carbon dioxide throughout the ocean, which disturbs the wildlife that live in this area. To this day, scientists say that every single piece of synthetic plastic made probably still exists. Synthetic plastic is the main polluting plastic made by people in 1907.
Falls off of boats, gets swept out of rivers, comes from the land. And the thing about it is not where it comes from so much, but how long does it last? And that's the amazing thing. I mean, there are pieces of debris that have been in the water for years to decades. We're still finding Japanese glass fishing floats that haven't been used actively in fisheries for decades.
But along with change comes hard work. All of our water bottles, plastic plates, and toothbrushes are already washed up on shore and possibly in birds or fish's stomachs. There are billions of beads of plastic already invisibly floating in the ocean. Cleaning all of the waste out would be nearly impossible. Projects like these are just too big to handle, and we should just worry about other problems inside the U.S.
People often ask why we can't just scoop up all the marine debris in the ocean. And the answer is, the first challenge is the sheer size of these garbage patches. They're huge. They're constantly moving with ocean currents. And there's debris from the ocean surface all the way down to the sea floor.
Imagine this. All the plastic floating in the ocean right now could possibly be over 200 years old. How? Well, instead of just vanishing, the plastic actually tears up into millions of tiny pieces. So in reality, a water bottle can transfer into this. Plastic is almost invisible in water, and this is the reason why people don't think it's that important. We want to flip that thought around. People don't see what the ocean is really like, and they don't realize the unnatural things that are happening to our one and only home. Pound by pound, in 2050, there will eventually be more garbage than fish. Soon, could even be more garbage than people. Yes, the garbage will be hard to get rid of, but it doesn't hurt to make a change rather than waiting for a world to be filled with waste.
It was once a pond. It's called the Collect Pond. It was the only source of fresh water on Manhattan for a long time. The pond had been, over the course of the centuries, filled up with garbage, and the slum had been built on top of that garbage-filled landfill. So the ground underneath the 5 Point slum was like really low-lying, kind of unstable, unlike the rest of Manhattan, which is, underlain with bedrock. So the groundwater was very easily contaminated under this slum, of course.
Why would the U.S. president have to worry about this when he gets into office? The garbage patch doesn't affect us and is not causing any harm to its surroundings. It is garbage that floats around the Pacific Ocean. How will it even be worth addressing? Why do we have to worry about the ocean and what's in it instead of on the land we actually live on?
Keep in mind, though, there are living things that are being harmed from this garbage and debris. Animal life around the area is being affected, and there's no good way for animals, such as birds, to receive fish within the sea. Animals that are trying to catch fish in the ocean cannot because of the small beads of plastic within the sea that the fish eat. Not only animals, but people as well. Countries such as Haiti that suffer from tropical storms can be majorly affected by debris and garbage in the ocean. For example, Hurricane Matthew hit Haiti in October 2016, and they are still recovering. The people affected by the hurricane are unable to grow crops, and a reason for that is because of all the garbage spread throughout the area that the hurricane brought.
After studying in the U.S., Jean Wiener founded a marine protection organization and returned to his homeland.
When I used to go to the beach when I was younger, it was pretty clean in most places, but nothing like this. I mean, this is just an environmental disaster, and it doesn't just stay here. It also travels through all the oceans. It ends up in other countries, and I think we'll have a real problem.
Even though animals are being affected, why should the U.S. try to deal with the garbage patch? We might be eating it, but if that's the only problem, why should the U.S. make such a big deal out of it and try to fix it? It isn't affecting us or our land, so we should just stay out of it.
The Great Pacific Garbage Patch does affect the U.S. Mentioned before, the garbage rotates through the Pacific Ocean and washes more than 10-year-old plastics onto the shore. Some of the beaches that get most of the garbage are in Hawaii. The garbage deposits tons of garbage onto the beaches and floats throughout the water. This can discourage the swimmers from wanting to swim in the plastic-filled water. The garbage patch can destroy or damage boats and submarines, and it can also harm local commercial fisheries. The garbage in the ocean eventually comes back to affect you or the people around you, which is why it's such an important cause to point our attention to.
I'll focus most of my statement on changes between the preliminary and the final report. First, I'd like to point out that the major thrust of the preliminary report remains unchanged. Recognition of the interrelationships among physical, biological, chemical, and geological processes in the dynamic marine environment and the increasing influence of human activities on these processes is pushing this nation inexorably towards an ecosystem-based management approach. We're facing a new generation of environmental problems, such as non-point source pollution, that require better data, more coordinated, integrated management strategies, and changes in human behaviors. To do the job, we need to reshape our governance structures, revitalize ocean and coastal science, exploration and technology, and transform the American stewardship ethic.
Overall, the President and Congress need to address the Great Pacific Garbage Patch in 2017. It has grown to an unbelievable amount of trash, 3.5 million tons of garbage as of right now. Although we cannot take away what we have already done, we need to prevent the problem before it becomes bigger. The President and Congress should address the situation before it becomes massive, and there really is no other way to stop it. A massive trash pile like this needs to be addressed sooner than later. And even though it won't be fixed in months, maybe even years, we need to stop contributing to a trash pile that one day will be outpopulating the human race.